Hey everyone, welcome again on the Stack channel. So in the last video we work on the register functionality, right? So once we will going to register, then we are navigated into the screen, and in this screen we have to work in this video, and that screen is the complete your sign up process. And in this screen we have a sort of form and we have to fill the form, and once we will create an account, then we will have to navigate back into the home screen. Okay, so let's work on this form in this video. Okay, and if you see the whole form, then you will find the basic building block of this form is the text form field. Okay, so first I'm going to create a generic text form field, and that generic text form field we are going to use everywhere in our app. So similarly we have another form for our updating the profile. Okay, over there also we will need a text form field. So let's make first a generic text form field, and let's know about how we can customize the text form field for our needs. Okay, then we will move ahead for the creating the whole form. Okay, so let's go and let's create a new folder which will be a text form field. I don't know, sp text form field, and inside this folder I'm going to create a new file. Okay, and it will going to be a stateless widget. So where is it? Is a stateless widget, text form field. Also let me import the material.dart package. Okay, so as of now it's a container, right? So let's go on the register, and in the scaffold let's use a body, and in the body it will going to be a column. Okay, and let's use the staff sp text form field as of now. Okay, we will going to make generic this thing, so don't worry. And it is we had to put it inside the children of the column. So yeah, okay, I don't know, my prettier is not working and code formatting is not happening. I had to fix it. So yeah, so that is our text form field which we created. As of now we don't have anything, but we already have created the text form field in one of our form, right? So here in a profile section you will find we already have this kind of text form field. Okay, so let me just copy the whole code, it will reduce our time. So this is a text form field which we have, so let me just copy the whole field and let's make generic this text form field. So it is a container, and I will put it over here. Some of the field are coming from somewhere like this controller, but other things are good. Okay, and let's use the formatting. Okay, so let me go on the page, and in the page that is came, but it's not visible because we are using the text form field, and we have to wrap it inside widget called save area. Okay, so now it is came. Also let's wrap it with a padding, and that padding will going to happen everywhere. That's why I'm wrapping the whole column into the padding, and I will add symmetric padding. It have as of now horizontal to 20. Okay, yeah, that is came. Let me format this out also. Okay, instead of 20 let's add a 15. Okay, now it is added, and let's go on sp text form field. Instead of the 43 let's use the 50, which will be good because it has some 50 kind of thing. Okay, and now let's make it generic. We already have a label text, so let's take this label text from the parameter, and let's make the label text as a required parameter. Okay, and instead of hard coding the label text, I'm going to use this label text. Okay, and let me go over here. So the first thing is create password. Okay, create password. So that create password is added. Now the next thing is we have to add a validation, and the next thing also is the create password is don't have any prefix icon. Okay, so let's go over here and let's make this prefix icon sort of thing as an optional. So as of now we don't need it, so I'm just removing it, but whenever we will use it, then we will make it optional. Okay, so it is added. I mean it is came, the create password is here. Also we have to add a validation on the create password. So if I will click on a create account button, and if I will not provide any sort of password, then it should throw an error. Okay, with the error border, all those stuff. Okay, so let's work on the validation also. Okay, so I will need to create a validation, and that validation will going to be a generic again. Okay, so to put a validation in the form field, we have a parameter called validator. Okay, so validator actually come in a text form field. Okay, text form field. Okay, so the validator actually like this. Okay, so validator is a function which is provided a value, and in the value we can print the value. Okay, over here the value you will get over here, that will be come over here. Okay, and it should return null. And to add a validation, we need to do some kind of thing. So okay, so we have to just add a validation, right? And that validation will going to invoke once we will click on the button. Okay, so let me add a button as well on a register. Just after the text form field, I will add a size box, and I will add some height 15. And to work with the validation, let's use a sp solid button. The text will going to be a create account, and minimum width will going to be a 0. Let me hit the save, and that is came. I should configure it, but yeah, I will see it later. And it take the on press, because we already configure it, right? In on press we have to invoke the validation, and to invoke a validation, what we need to do, we need to wrap our column with another widget called form. Okay, because we are working with the form, and the validation come into the form widget only. Okay, so form have a key. Okay, so form have a key, and that key we have to initialize over here or in our controller. But just to work with the validation, how it will work, let's create a key over here, form key, and it will be a global key which have a type form state. Okay, and I'm going to provide this key here. So on press will take the I'm just pausing the video and configuring my formatter. So I have fixed my formatter issue. Now let's work on the validation. So to invoke the validation, we have to write some logic over here. Okay, so we have to invoke the validation with help of the form key which we just created, and form key dot current state dot validated. So this is a thing to invoke the to check the validation of our form. Okay, so this is coming because of the null check. Okay, and it will going to return a true or false value. It is validated, then it will be a true, and if it is not validated, then it will going to be a false. Okay, so let's click on a create account, and as of now nothing is happening. Why? Because in a validation we are doing nothing. Okay, so let's add a first validation, that will be if the value length is less than 0 or its value is empty. Okay, also here you have to add in null check. And so suppose if we haven't typed anything and click on a create account, then we should throw an error. Okay, and that error we will going to throw using the return keyword. So it will be a password can't be empty or something, password can't be empty, like this sort of thing. Okay, so password can't be empty will be the message that will be invoked if the validation is failed. So if I will click here, then you will find that password can't be empty error is came. If it is not visible clearly, then I can increase the font size, and you will find here, and the sort of border is also changed. Okay, so this is a error border, and the error border should be handled by us. So as of now we have a two kind of border. The first border is enable border, second is the focus, and now let's add a error border as well. So I'm just going to copy the whole thing, and let's use a error border. Then there will another border will come, that will be a focus error border. Okay, I will help you to understand that thing as well. So it will be a red. Okay, so now the error border is came, but you will see that it is not looking good. Okay, so how we will handle this thing? Now the error border is came, but it is kind of not a good condition. Okay, so how we will handle it? To handle it, either we can just remove the height of the container. Okay, so if I will remove the height of the container, and if I will click, then automatically the error sort of thing will going to handle by the text form field. Okay, but we should have some height. Okay, otherwise it will not work properly. But yeah, as of now let's forget about the height as of now. Okay, but there is another thing also, that if I will click on a border, then now it is become a focus error border. So we have to handle the focus error border as well. So error border will going to have one, and we have another focus error border. So now it become a focus error border. So sort of we have a four thing: enable border, focus border, error border, and focus error border. Okay, and the must thing we have to do is, we are using it for the create password as of now, but the validator which we did here, that is a hard coded for the create password. Okay, and we have to use this text form field for other field also, like username or like email, hint name, for those kind of things. So we have to make this validator configurable. Okay, so how we will make the validator as a configurable? So let's take a validation also from the user. So to take a validation, so the scenario is, it is a function. Okay, it is a function, and that function will take a parameter kind of string. Okay, and that string also can be null. Okay, so I'm just reframing everything. Okay, so it is a function. Okay, it is a function, and it is taking a string type of parameter, and that string can also have a null. That's why I put it the question mark. Along with it will going to return a string. Okay, so it will going to return a string, and that string also can be null. Okay, so that is the format of the validator function. Okay, so validator will going to take a function, that is a function which take a string as a parameter, and that parameter can be null, and also going to return a string, and that string can be null. So that is a validator property. And instead of doing this validation, all those stuff here, okay, now it become a generic. Okay, and let's take it from this dot validator. Okay, and also this function can be this function can be not required. Okay, so that's why I put the question mark for that thing. Lots of things, right? So yeah, the validator function now become a part of our SP text form field, and we can pass it over here. So the create password will require a validator, so I can pass a validator, and I just copy the validation stuff which we created. So the validation will going to apply anyway. Okay, so we just make a validation stuff for our text form field generic. Okay, so it will work like charm. Okay, so validation is became a generic, so I can remove it. So now I guess we are pretty much close to complete this text form field stuff. Okay, so let's work on this whole thing. So we have a create password, then we have the full name, so let's add a full name also. So just after this I'm going to add a full name. So we need to add some kind of padding between the button as well. SP text name, SP button just after this. Okay, so it will be having a full name, and we don't need a validator over here because it's not a required parameter. Okay, it's optional. So full name optional. Okay, so if I will click on a create account, the error will not come for our this text form field. Okay, then we have email, so let me just copy it and put the email. Email is also came. Then what is it? We have to work on this thing later, but we have the alternate mobile number as well. For alternate mobile number, now we have to again make our text form field generic. Okay, so mobile number have the prefix icon, and we are not handling the prefix icon as well. So this is a sort of prefix icon. Okay, so yeah, we need to do the same thing over there also. So let's go on our text form field. Let's take a prefix icon. So the prefix icon will going to be generic now, and what will be the type of the prefix icon? The type of the prefix icon will going to be a widget, and it can be empty, and it can be null, non-optional, sorry, I'm saying null, non-optional. So this prefix icon we have to use over here. Okay, so we are getting the prefix icon, and let's pass the prefix icon for our fourth case. Okay, we have made the prefix icon generic as of now, right? So let's go over here and let's create a fourth parameter that will going to be a it will be alternate mobile number. As of now I am adding only related to the solid button sort of text form field sort of thing only. We have to work on this thing later. Okay, as of now I'm just working here. So I guess all the heights should be around 20. 20, 20, it will going to be a 25 or something. Okay, and now in this alternate mobile number form field, I'm going to use the same logic we have for the prefix icon. So I'm just going to copy it and going to paste it, and you will wonder that will work as charm. Okay, why it is working? Because we are taking the prefix icon, the same number. I should remove the linting as well, but yeah, so the SP text form field is taking another parameter called prefix icon, and that is a widget, and we are directly applying it. Okay, so we are passing the prefix icon over here, and it is working fine. Okay, and it is not a mandatory, that's why the validation is not came. But suppose I will add a validation, the same kind of validation we have. If I will add a validation like this, then you will find that the validation will going to work also. So if I will put a validation, okay, and if I will click on a create account, then validation will work over here also. So now you can think that the SP text field is kind of pure generic component. Okay, it is pure generic, and we can use it anywhere on the app. Okay, so now the last thing this method will going to take is the controller. Okay, and that controller and all those stuff we will do in a next video, because its video is large, and we have to complete the functionality of this thing. Okay, we have to complete this thing also. Let's put the hint name, and we have to create this one also. So let's the last thing, let's do it. Let's put the hint name, this one. Let's copy this one only. So after the alternate mobile number, I'm going to put another field which will going to be a hint name. Okay, I just forgot to add this before this. And don't worry about the linting, those stuff. We can solve the linting using the const everywhere. Const linting is good, but sometimes it's irritating. Const, yeah, here also we have it. And sort of everything is added. We have to just work on this part, on the app bar, and this part. Okay, and let's do it in our next video.